Hi everyone, this is Miss Leverenz. I'm really missing everyone at school. I hope you are all staying safe, and I can't wait to come back and see all of your faces again. So today I thought it would be really fun if we learned some of the basics of the Chinese language. Chinese was actually my first language because I was born in the country of Taiwan, which is in Eastern Asia. It's really close to China. And my mom's side of the family is from China. So that was the language that I spoke up until I came to the United States when I was 5. So the Chinese language it's actually not really accurate to call it Chinese because there's so many different dialects that fall under the Chinese language. So for example, there's Cantonese, which is a dialect that people speak in Hong Kong. There's Taiwanese, which is a dialect that people speak in Taiwan. And then there's Mandarin. So Mandarin is the official language of China, and most people in China, Hong Kong, and Taiwan will speak or understand Mandarin. So that's the language that I'm going to be teaching you today. So there's over 1 billion people in the world who speak Mandarin Chinese. And like I said before, it's the most popular dialect used in China. There's over 50,000 characters in the Mandarin language, even though the average person will only use around 8,000 of these characters to communicate with each other every day. So characters are kind of like Chinese words. So even though there's 50,000 of these Chinese words, most people will only use 8,000 to talk to each other, to read a newspaper, or to read a book. So the Chinese language also has a lot of patterns throughout their characters. So characters are broken down into different parts, much like you can break down some of the words in the English language into prefixes and suffixes. It's the same with the Chinese language. So a lot of the Chinese language words, like for example, any of the words that we use to talk about water. So for example, the word for ocean or the word for rain or the word for river will have the same radical. So you can think of a radical as a prefix, and the radical looks like this. So this is the radical for any word that has to do with water. And if you notice, it kind of looks like 3 drops of water, and that's exactly what it's supposed to look like. So the people who created the Chinese language were thinking very visually when they created this language, and they wanted to make sure that all characters included radicals that gave you a clue to its meaning. Okay. So the Chinese language has a long history. Characters were created over 6,000 years ago, which makes it one of the oldest languages in the world. The earliest form of writing was found on turtle shells, which is what scribes use to inscribe important information on. So the Chinese language is really, really old. It was created a long time ago, and the characters were created to look, they were pictographs. So pictographs means that many of the characters you will see look like a picture of the object or the idea that they're representing. So the people who created the Chinese language created their language by looking at things around them and then trying to create characters that looked like these objects around them. So let me walk you through 2 examples just to show you what I mean, and then we'll go on to learn some of the basic greetings. So this is the Chinese word for big. It's pronounced da. Da. So da is the Chinese word for big, and it's supposed to look like a person with their arms and their legs extended. So when we think about ways in which a person can make themselves look bigger, the biggest position we can take is to extend our arms and our legs, right? So the people who were creating the Chinese language really thought this through before they created this character. So let me show you again. It looks a lot like a person who's creating the biggest position that they can. So they're extending their arms and their legs. The second word I'm going to show you is the word for mountain in Chinese. And this word is pronounced shan, shan. So shan is the Chinese word for mountain. So if you could see, this character really does look like a mountain. It has slope and it has a peak, right? So it really does look like a mountain. So some of these characters, the basic characters, really look like pictures because that's what they were created to look like. Okay. So now let's go on to learn some of the basic Chinese greetings. So when we greet each other, we always begin by saying hello, which is 你好. 你好. So if you want to ask how someone is doing, you would say 你好吗?你好吗? So that's the phrase for how are you doing. So let's practice that. 你好. Hello. 你好吗? Hello, how are you doing? So when someone asks you 你好吗, you can either respond in two ways. You can respond by saying 我很好, I'm very good, or I'm very well. Or you can say 我不好. 我不好. 我不好 means I'm not doing so well. So let's practice this. 你好. Hello. 你好吗? How are you doing? 我很好. I'm very well. Or 我不好. I'm not doing so well. 你好. 你好吗? 我很好. 我不好. Okay. So those are basic greetings. Now let's learn how you would ask someone for their name. 你好, hello. 你, you, 叫, called, 什么, what, 名字, name. 你好, 你叫什么名字? Hello, what is your name? So let's practice that. 你好, 你叫什么名字? 你好, 你叫什么名字? And then you would respond by saying 你好, hello, 我叫, I'm called, and then your name. 你好, 我叫 Miss Leverenz. So now you practice that. You would say 你好, 我叫, and then whatever your name is. 你好, 你叫什么名字? 你好, 我叫 Miss Leverenz. Okay. So those are some of the most basic Chinese greetings. If you're really interested to learn more, you can email me and I could send you a link to learning some more greetings. Or if you want to email me, I could also try to come up with a Chinese name for you in the next couple days. But for now, let's go on to learning some Chinese numbers. So first I'm going to count from 1 to 10, and then I'm going to teach you how numbers in the Chinese language are kind of like a pattern. And then we're going to go to learn 11 to 20 so that I could show you this pattern. So the Chinese word for 1 is yi. The Chinese word for 2 is er. The Chinese word for 3 is san. The Chinese word for 4 is si. The word for 5 is wu. The word for 6 is liu. The word for 7 is 七. The word for 8 is 八. The word for 9 is 九. And the word for 10 is 十. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you try practicing it now. 1, E, 2, R, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, and 10, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so that was 1 to 10. Now let me show you how easy it is to count from from 11 to 20. So basically the word for 11 is just the word for 10 and the word for 1 combined. So remember the word for 10 was 十 and the word for 1 is 一. So 11 would just go 十一. 12 would go 十二. 13 十三. 14 十四. 15 十五. 16 十六. 17 十七. 18 十八. 19 十九. And then 20 is just the word for 2 and the word for 10 combined. So go 20. So 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So now let's count all the way from 1 to 20, and then we'll stop there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay. So now we're done with everything for today. Like I said, if you have any questions about this or if you're interested in learning more, you can shoot me an email. For now, we're done for today. So I hope that everyone has a great rest of their day. Keep practicing the Chinese. I want to see everyone being comfortable with the greetings and being comfortable counting from 1 to 20 when we get back to school. So have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching and stay safe. Bye.